Well, hello there. Hope you're having a good day. Thanks for visiting my IT Mostly channel, or if you're watching this on Infotech as I see it, thank you for visiting there. I'm going to talk a little bit today about Windows 10, and I know everybody's talking about Windows 10, especially because we're coming up on a little more than a month left before the free period goes away. Um, and the most recent push for Microsoft to try to get it on everybody's desktop, whether they want it or not. And why I think this is a really bad marketing strategy. Plus, along the way, I'll show you a few things here that I really kind of don't like about Windows 10. I've been using it almost since day one. I started using Windows 10 on July 29th, so when it was real. Yeah, I had some beta stuff that I used, but I didn't use it very long. I wasn't that impressed. But here's the deal. Windows 10, don't get me wrong, Windows 10 is a good operating system. Windows 10 is probably the most secure. It is better performing for a lot of apps. What you're looking at now is actually my game drive, which is on an SSD and such. But my games are running faster to the point to where I can do things like stream Battlefield 4 in monitor capture mode, which all you guys out there, if you do any streaming of gaming, you know that Battlefield 4 is a real pain in the ass when it comes to streaming. I mean, if you can get it to work at all, you have to use a monitor capture, which is resource intensive, and you have to take the performance hit. And before, with Windows 7 below, it didn't seem to matter what graphics card I had. I would drop to like 1-2 frames a second in the stream and take at least a 15 per second frame per second hit while I was gaming. So there's some driver improvements. There's some things it does better. It's not that the apps are updated, it was that Windows was updated. So it does its stuff a little better. Great. But there's a lot more to dislike than there is to like. If I had my real choice, if I really, was not concerned about things like DirectX 12 because that only works in Windows 10 and above, I probably would have, at least for the gaming drive, stayed on Windows 7. But as it is, I've upgraded about half of my installs from 7 to 10. I actually tried to do one last weekend, and I ran into, I have an install. In fact, I used an install USB method, which I've detailed on my Windows 10 install videos from about a year back. I actually used that method and upgraded and installed, did a clean install on this drive. This was not an upgrade, but because this machine happened to be digitally licensed, and I'll show you that, there's basically a license entitlement. Once you've installed Windows 10 successfully on a device, that device, meaning basically a motherboard BIOS string that it reads, will allow you to install it again if you put another drive in or that kind of thing. So it's by device, which is good. I mean, at least that's an improvement. The licensing is by device, not by install, which is somewhat of a improvement. But here, you'll see that I have the Windows digital entitlement. And if you go to their little site, you see all their stuff. What entitles you to a Windows 10 upgrade? Great. You bought a new device. You had an existing genuine copy of 7.8. Great. Whatever. But here's the thing. There's a lot of things about Windows 10 that kind of diehard older Windows users like me don't like. For one thing, the settings. This is the settings page. This is the replacement for control panel. The problem with this is it's romper room mode. You're so locked into a very limited subset of what you can actually do that you don't have a lot of complete control of your system. Accounts. I actually have, now this is a administrative user account, and I could set all this stuff, but you see this here? Some Windows features are only available if you're using a Microsoft account or a work account. Okay, that's BS because I am the only user on this machine. I have to dig in here and find the administrator account and enable it to be able to have complete control, which means certain things like what icons will show up on the desktop or what functions I can enable or disable will be disabled. Unless I somehow enable that administrator account. I also don't like the fact that It wants me to use this Microsoft Everywhere Hotmail Outlook.com BS account to go do basic things or log into the machine. It's basically logging into the machine, but not the machine as in my box, the machine, like Pink Floyd talk about. Welcome to the machine. Okay, that's kind of where we're at with this. I don't like the whole premise, but then, I kind of go over because I realize that Windows 10 is a decent operating system. It's everything Windows 8 should have been. Great, except that it's a sales platform. The whole business model for Microsoft is to lock you in and point a gun at your head and basically say, you're going to deal with this, and if you don't pay us money, we're going to take something almost as valuable, which is your personal information, to the point where I've actually had gone to the extent of installing something like Spybot anti-recon, and you see this. Look at all this crap: telemetry, customer experience improvement, recording group policy, hotspot, I mean, all this crap. OneDrive service, Cortana group policy. In fact, I've pretty much shut down Cortana because I'm not going to use this stuff. It's a gaming PC. I don't want this stuff. I don't want the Office crap either that's put in there. Okay, but it's there. It's a sales platform. And as a sales platform, it's going to constantly try to sell you things. And that's not what I use an operating system for. If I want to be sold things, I'll go to a store. Speaking of which, look, there's the App Store. Okay? And oh, by the way, say you want something interesting. Okay, I want to download this, right? This may or may not work. You see this? I can't just download something from the Microsoft Store. I have to log in with an Outlook account. And you know what happens when I do that? Because I've had it happen already. Now I have two accounts when I log into this machine. One's a Microsoft account, and one is my local user account, which is what this machine's set up under. And guess which one it's going to try to default to? And guess what? Even if you don't activate, even if you use the local user account, not the Microsoft account, there are services that the Microsoft account being there will try to activate. You see, so it's a sales platform. And by activating that account, it allows them to try to sell me more crap. Some say, well, they got to make money. It's a business. No, you know what they need to make money on? They need to make money selling their Azure services. They need to make money on Office 365. But an operating system should not be something you make money on. So I'm with them. I'm there. I think it's a good thing they gave it away, okay, for that. But if they start charging for this and it's a sales platform, that's insult to injury. I mean, let's take a look at it this way. Microsoft basically says now that if you're not watching, you're going to get Windows 10 whether you want it or not. And oh, by the way, we don't care if you need Media Center. We don't care if we break your apps. And by the way, if we don't like your apps, and I've had this happen, CPU ID, actually a version of that actually happened to me. If it didn't, Windows 10 didn't like it and actually uninstalled it. I didn't uninstall it, it uninstalled it. And I found out after the fact when I was looking for my icon and it wasn't there. Okay. This is a problem. They're basically holding a gun to people's heads saying, okay, you need to upgrade your Office now. You need to upgrade your operating system. You need to do all this stuff now because we're telling you to, because it fits our business model. I don't give a crap about your business model. Okay? I don't live my life for the betterment of Microsoft. What the hell? And the fact is, it's not a good business model to keep charging people for things they don't necessarily need or want. Now mind you, security updates and all that stuff, that is very important. I mean, you should be as secure as you can be, but let's face it, it's a Windows machine. It's the #1 attack surface for hacking and malicious software and all kinds of nastiness and terrible things to happen to you. But look, you don't need to put a gun to people's head to make them buy things. Okay, that's not a business model. That's strong-arming. That's extortion. I mean, let me give you an example. Let's take the example of Toyota. Okay, here's Toyota. Now, Toyota doesn't sit there and put cars on their dealerships' lots and say, okay, we're not going to sell you a car, we're going to lease you a car. That's all you can do. And in 5 years, we either take it away from you or you lease a new one. No, you buy that Toyota and you could have that thing for 20 years if you want. And you know what? Toyota will support it. They will fix it. They will keep parts in stock for it. You will drive the thing as long as you want. In fact, they made their reputation on the fact that their stuff lasts a long time and it's good. Okay? That's what Toyota did. Yeah, they had some missteps along the way and some lawsuits and stuff. So did GM, so did Ford. Who cares? But the fact is, you see, they've got all this, we're doing stuff, or we're investing in things, we're doing stuff, and people buy it not because someone puts a gun to their head, but because they like the product. And if they like the product, chances are 5, 10 years down the road, they're going to buy another Toyota. Maybe 2, 3, 4 of them, and they're going to tell their friends, and their friends are going to buy Toyotas. That's a good buying experience, and a good buying experience leads to sales. But Microsoft isn't allowing that to happen. It doesn't matter how good Windows 10 is. It doesn't matter how secure it is. What they've basically done is said that our focus is revenue over the customer. Well, here's the basics of marketing. And I blame Sanjay Nadella for this. I hate the son of a bitch. I'm sorry. He's running the company into the ground. He's worse than Ballmer ever was. And I'll tell you why. Because he has this scorched earth strategy. And the scorched earth strategy says, my way or the highway. And by the way, the highway, it's full of potholes. So you're going to need us anyway. I wish there was a good Linux distro that could keep up with at least even Windows 7. There really isn't. There just isn't. The way people use a computer, the way people use Windows, there is no Linux distro that works that way. I've tried them, I've looked at them, and you still end up screwing around with stuff that the average user would be mystified at. So they know that Windows is the game. And how are we going to make sure we keep pushing our market share? Nadella says, screw 7, screw 8, screw 8.1, even if they paid for it. We're going to push this Windows 10 desktop on you, and we're going to push this sales platform on you, and you don't have anything to say about it because, frick it, it's not about the customer, it's about our revenue stream. Well, what you forgot about the revenue stream is that you don't have one if you don't have customers. And when you piss off customers, they don't buy your shit. Instead of going with Office 365, they're going to go with LibreOffice. They're going to go over to Mac, and they're going to maybe they'll go to Office for Mac, because as far as I know, that isn't a subscription model yet. Or maybe they'll just use your damn free apps until you take those away. But the bottom line is you're shooting yourself in the foot because people buy shit. Remember that. People are customers. And when you screw your customers, eventually you're not going to sell anything to them, no matter how good it is. Okay? If Toyota suddenly said tomorrow that every vehicle we have, good or bad, has a 3-year lease, and you have to turn it over 3 years, we do not sell, we do not allow you to hold on to it. In fact, if you try to hold on to it, we're going to repossess it. Or we're going to come along and put a bomb under it and blow it up in 3 years if you don't renew the lease. That's the same thinking here. If Toyota did that, they'd be out of business in 5 years. Yeah, there's some idiots that would go along with that, but most people wouldn't. You have to take the customer into account. You go where the customer is. You don't force the customer into your experience. You make it attractive for your customer to come into your experience. And that's not what Microsoft is doing. And that's a problem. That's a big problem. And you know, going along with that, this whole thing is just, it's romper room time. I mean, I'm somebody who's used to a control panel where I can see things. Like, I mean, take for example, if I want to uninstall a program, okay, I got to go into System, and then I got to go to Apps and Features, and then it loads, then I see all this crap, right? I got Visual C++ and all that. Okay, here's the question. This is similar to programs and features in Windows 7? Or my programs in earlier versions? Where are my updates? Do you see updates? Now they're probably here somewhere. I'm sure, if I dig deep enough, but they intentionally hide it. However, if you know how to get into the guts of it, say if I do just C and I search control panel, oh look, there's my old control panel. And what do I want to, if I want to look at my programs? Well, I can go to programs and features. And look at this. Look at all this crap. Windows features on and off, installed updates, I can do that. Where is installed updates on the apps screen? Where is it? Where is it? Do you see it anywhere? This is what I mean. This is what's driving people in corporate America insane. Because yeah, this stuff is still there for now. When won't it be? I mean, they've pushed the whole operating system on us. What's to keep them from taking away features? I mean, they just took away the, which was, some people call it security risk anyway, the Wi-Fi sharing password crap. But here, this isn't really a rant, this is an observation. Look, Windows 10 isn't bad, but you have to treat it as a sales platform, as a kiosk, and that's intentional. They want you to buy stuff. They want to harvest your data for their own sales information, to improve the experience, but it's not improving your experience. It's improving their sales experience so they can run more ads at you. That's a problem. That's what's wrong with Windows 10. It's not all bad, but it ain't all good. And the fact that it's no longer a choice, but a commandment. And the fact that there will be, well, they've stopped any new feature updates for Windows 7. Who cares? Windows 7 doesn't need any more features. In fact, the last feature was the GWX crap. But they'll still do security. 2020, that's gone. So you got a little under 4 years left on that. Fine. You know what? If you can and you don't need to, stay with the 4 years. So the problem is, you may not have the choice. And that's a problem. That's a big problem. You have the right to choice. You are a customer. You are not indebted. You are not beholden to any corporation. And this is why, if this keeps going, regardless of how ubiquitous the Microsoft platform is, and I'm not calling it Windows, I'm calling it the Microsoft platform. Even Microsoft is trying to get away from the Windows name. No matter how ubiquitous, it will fail if they continue on this route, because people will eventually get the hint. Because yeah, people will fall for anything, and they'll fall for subscription models and crap like that. But when you get to the point where you start taking basic choice away from people, when people don't have the option to opt out, that's when people leave. And if this keeps going, Microsoft is done. That's it. They're done. What will replace them? For the meantime, probably Mac. The way people work now, the majority of stuff is done on the web anyway, cloud services, that kind of thing. That's why even Microsoft has adopted it. It won't matter. You could log on with a Chromebook and run a Microsoft app. Who cares? You know? But if this keeps going, Microsoft is going to be done. It needs to stop. The strong-arming needs to stop. So there you go. That's what I got to say. Hopefully you found some value in this. That's all. Thanks for watching, folks. Have a great day.